We start.
Сейчас еще. Денис, ты куда ты пропадаешь?
Да, все, Саш, мы в эфире.
Всё?
Можем начинать, да.
Начинаем. Настроимся. Соединим ладони вместе.
So let's tune in. Bring your palms together.
Закроем глаза.
Make your spine straight. Close your eyes.
Установим контакт с самим собой.
So connect to yourself. Connect your feelings,
Чувствами.
your sensations, your moods,
Мыслями.
your thoughts.
Установим контакт со своим дыханием.
Connect to your breath
И сознательно сделаем дыхание ровным.
and consciously make your breath even and deep.
Так, чтобы привести под контроль свой ум.
So to make sure your brain, your mind is under control. Your state of being is under control. So you are the host. You're the host in your household.
Так, чтобы иметь возможность целенаправленно двигаться дальше.
To make sure you can purposely move forward
В поисках истинного хозяина.
in the search of the real host,
Того, из кого исходит вся жизнь.
the one who is the source of all life, all creation, all the cause and effect, all the energy, the one who is the source of all the consciousness and all the bliss.
Так, чтобы мы сейчас могли встать у руля своего корабля.
So we can start steering our own ship.
Перестав бесконечно скитаться по этому океану рождений и смертей.
So we stop just wandering around that ocean of death and life,
Набегом пиратов, штормам,
being affected and
переворотами.
hijacked by pirates, storms, capsizes of our boat.
И сейчас сделаем вместе глубокий вдох и выдох.
And we're now gonna make a deep inhalation all together and exhale and inhale to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo
Very good, very camouflage.
Gurudev Namo Gurudev Namo Adgure Name, Adgure Name, Adgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name, Gure Name, Adgure Name, Sadgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name, Adgure Name, Adgure Name, Sadgure Name, Sri Gurudev Name.
Хорошо. Сатнам, друзья.
Well, Satnam, everyone.
Такое получилось пафосное начало.
We have quite a
Чтобы говорить немного медленнее, поскольку будет перевод.
We'll
Вот.
have quite a grand beginning, and we'll talk a little bit slow because we have translation. But grand beginning matches the event which brought us together, this big festival, to realize that wonderful event in this interesting format for some reasons. First of all, we all together can celebrate Women's Day, congratulate all the women. It's a really good format, so we can address everyone who want to receive all those good wishes, to receive them, and for those who can't join us right now, they can look later. So instead of just sending all these messages and all these emails, we're just making a big address to all women. And so we can choose this elevated form to celebrate this, to see how much diversity we have in our group. So when we have a lot of men giving wishes to women, it is really good idea. I really, really welcome this idea. And the second positive reason is that we have an opportunity to once more to look at and actually to honor that beginning, the beginning of that true, really genuine feminine beginning. And although this particular celebration event has been criticized by men, by women, but actually there is lots of meaning in this event, because the whole beginning, the beginning has two, the source has two kind of like aspects, feminine and masculine, and they are completely inseparable. They cannot exist without each other. And we know this from all the sacred texts in India, that you cannot separate Shiva and Shakti, because Shiva without Shakti is Shiva. It's just a corpse. So you cannot imagine Narayana or God Vishnu without the female part, without Saraswati. Even in Chinese system, you have yin and yang. So these two initial beginnings, they're absolutely inseparable. What happened?
Сейчас.
We've lost Alexander for a bit. We've lost Alexander. We're coming back.
Сейчас.
You want a second?
Да, все, Саш. Включай
Alexander
сейчас
is
микрофон.
Денис, передайте Саше чуть-чуть помедленнее, чтобы
Да,
чуть-чуть,
Саш,
да. Или
чуть-чуть
паузу
помедленнее.
делать.
Наверное, это специально
Чуть-чуть
было
помедленнее.
создано, чтобы сказать. Тут
So I'm
есть...
just asking Alexander to be a little bit slower, so making sure I can translate everything. Yeah.
Да, сейчас все нормально.
Передайте Саше, чтобы он просто чуть-чуть помедленнее говорил. Не надо делать пауз.
Да, Саш, вот Люда просит, чтобы просто помедленнее чуть-чуть. Паузы не обязательно делать, просто медленнее чуть-чуть сам темп.
Да. Well, я стараюсь.
Супер.
So we're just regulating the speed of Alexander's talk. So we continue. Sorry about this pause. Yeah. So once again, it's a really good opportunity to celebrate woman, feminine beginning. Because thanks to that feminine aspect, we can join this world. So we can realize ourselves, our will, our free will. I think we're losing Alexander again. Okay, I don't know whether you can hear me or is it Russian girls? It looks like Russian girls, yeah. Alexander.
Да.
So it looks like because of a little bit of interruption, it's Alexander's internet is a little bit unstable. So
Похоже, что со связью было. Ну, наверное, все сейчас наладится. Сейчас все. Нужно просто, наверное,
Alexander's internet connection was temporarily off. So we're just saying either this kind of the good wishes would kind of be for a long time because he needs to repeat it again and again.
В общем, ценность женского начала невозможно вообще каким-то образом переоценить.
The value of the feminine is you can't overestimate because that energy, the power, the energy, and the whole world, including our own body, our mind, different dimensions we exist in, which we can realize, and the creator can realize its will. So women are the entire world, and the world serves a woman because the world can see, the universe can see itself in a woman. That's why this celebration is very, very important for all of us. Денис, передай Саше чуть-чуть помедленнее еще. And of course, men and women are different aspects of the creator. So the masculine aspect is penetration, is being purposeful, to achieve some goals, almost like unearthed, beyond the earthen goals. But feminine beginning, which is manifest in a woman, is of course a nature of service, serving to its own nature, to the nature of your own bliss, the nature of your pleasure, beauty, and woman reflects a man. Through a feminine, we enter life, and every man, in a way, is an expression of masculine, and every woman is an expression of feminine. But in the bigger scale, we all are representatives of Shakti, which is a feminine aspect. But each of our soul, as Guru Nanak said, is the soul of a bride. So it's a little part of the whole creator. It's a servant of it. That's why all of us are manifestation, expression of the feminine aspect. But men have a little more masculine and women have a little bit more feminine aspect. That's why I've noticed this, that a Woman Day is one only a year, and it's international, but men's celebrations or Men's Day are many, and there are lots of different ones, and they, depending on which country you're on, you have it on a different day. In Russia, it's on the 23rd of February, in other countries on another day, but it actually shows that the feminine day and feminine aspect is a universal one, and it's it manifests, it's inseparable from the creator. And the masculine aspect is more individualistic, it's more egoistic in some sense. That's why we've got lots of different Men's Day, and they take place on different days, in different times. So it's a good analogy of that difference between masculine and feminine aspects beginning. So
собственно, они представляют весь представляют все многообразие этого мира. И очень хорошо, что вот этот фестиваль
This masculine
как
and
раз
feminine
закладывает
energies,
идею
they
представить
represent the whole diversity of the world. And this particular festival is a demonstration
в этой
of
жизни.
the diversity of the world.
И очень хорошая вот эта концепция, эта идея
So it's a really good concept, which I like, to show these qualities, 10 qualities, 10 virtues, which were symbolized
И таким
or
образом
lived through, incarnated by 10 different gurus in its diversity. So if you can imagine a creator as one, and then 10 gurus represent 10 different energies and manifestation of the masculine energy, of the energy, of the virtue.
вот в этой жизни.
And each virtue is incredibly, incredibly helpful. It's important.
Вот, и каждый класс, он даст возможность нам как-то
So
прикоснуться.
each session in this festival give an opportunity to touch, to experience these different virtues. I'm number 5, virtue number 5. And the one which I are going to give you an experience of from the point of view of the consumer, it's one of the most difficult ones. It's a virtue which is called self-sacrifice. And the fifth guru, Guru Arjan, he was the first martyr. The first guru who was actually publicly executed. He was tortured publicly. But because those people who tortured him hoped that he will betray his own belief, that channel which would connect him to the Creator. But Guru managed to sacrifice what he believed into, some temporary beliefs and his temporary achievements for the eternal, for something beyond, for something eternal. And this is very serious, very deep virtue, because he demonstrated that the spiritual interest must be and should be much higher or above the earthen interests. And with that deed, with that self-sacrifice, he demonstrated that usually this sacrifice, and he was really, he was fried in the frying pan. He was covered with very hot sun. They really tortured his flesh. And when we talk about the ascetic nature, when people really sacrifice, when people have to sacrifice something for something beyond, it's quite often said that men are those who can do the sacrifice. But actually, the true fact is that women are much more those who are ready to make sacrifice some personal interest for the personal benefit of something bigger than that.
История помнит очень много разных всяких.
The story shows us that there are lots of Christianity shows there were lots of both men and women who had to sacrifice something in the earthly life. For example, Sophia, so she herself and her daughter were tortured and murdered with the same purpose as Guru Arjan. So with the purpose to shaken their belief, to impose that the earthen is more important than anything they believed in. And in this way, those advent of spiritual beliefs would have to say that what they believe is not as important as what the executors, what the authorities trying to impose. I think we lost Alexander again for a second. Please be patient. He's coming back. Alexander is back. Alexander really apologizes for the connection because he is in the house with like a block of flats, everyone using internet, therefore they're kind of a big traffic, unfortunately. So we'll continue. So coming back to the coaches, with which Guru Aj was subject to in his life, and to justify that those who tortured him, they had the belief that that's the importance what they believe and that he's going to tremble, which didn't happen because he proved that his belief, the belief which is above the human nature, is much stronger than anything which is the earth and nature connected. That was a test. That was a test he was subjected to. So we lost Alexander for a second. I'm just waiting for him to come back. Really sorry about that again. He's coming back. Uh-huh. So we really have to sacrifice something to make sure internet is working. Alexander is trying to connect to his mobile phone. Just something is not. Sorry, ladies. Sorry, sisters. This is torture, which we all subject to. The torture through internet connection, and we're trying to do our best. And we need to sustain our torture in the belief that we're doing it for something greater. So we need to stay with it. Without video, so someone suggested maybe we can do it without video, just with but I really suggest you keep patient for a bit, because Alexander is an amazing teacher. He's a very, very special teacher, and it's worth waiting for all these interruptions, because the experience he's giving is very, it's a torture by internet and the test of our patience. So just please stay with us. And Alexander is doing all he can. Okay. He's just trying to reconnect through some personal, I don't know whether it's hotspot, Wi-Fi, just looking what is possible to improve the internet connection right now. Yes, because I said it's worth every minute of waiting. It's a very, very special occasion and very special teacher. We definitely don't want to miss this opportunity. So please stay with us. Yeah. But we do have Alexander.
Yeah.
Right now.
We'll see you later.
Masks? Guys, masks?
So what Alexander is trying to do, just to switch to, he left internet. So he left our YouTube Zoom call, and he is now trying to reconnect through different connection. And let's see whether we'll have some improvement, hopefully. Maybe someone suggested to switch the video off, maybe the camera off, maybe this could be an option, but we are trying to do it differently. We're trying to do it with just different hotspots, different Wi-Fi connection. So hopefully it will work. At the end of the day, Alexander was, I think he was in the past engineer, or he was quite technical. So he really knows his technical part as well as spiritual. So we're just waiting. Okay. So I think he's coming back. Yeah, if you can maybe send us a message to say which country, which city, and which country you're from. Excellent. Estonia, Tallinn, Germany, Ukraine, Rovno, Kiev, beautiful Moscow, Omsk, Germany, Hamburg, Lithuania, Moscow again. Okay, Russia, Krasnodarsky Krai, Krasnodar area, St. Petersburg again, Frankfurt, excellent. So Alexander is back, so we are very blessed with internet connection through his mobile phone. We will continue, so we can, and again, just a little bit slower. Скажите, Саша, чуть-чуть помедленнее. Ну, я успеваю, но кое-что не приходит.
Перекличку сделали. Так.
Я тогда
Саша,
продолжу.
Okay.
я буду... Смотри, если что, на моей картинке, вот если чуть помедленнее, я тебе штучку буду говорить. Видно тебя?
So we continue. Alexander is back, and he's going also to speak a bit slower, so I'm definitely not going to miss anything he's saying with the translation. So just as soon as he starts speaking, we're just making sure that you speak a little bit slower. Well, I'm not a professional translator, although I lived in the UK for 22 years, but okay. Okay, we can continue. And hope you don't have much noise at the background where I am. If you do, let me know. I can put the headphones on to make sure the sound is a little bit more focused. Let me know as well. All English speaking group. Okay, so we coming back to the sacrifice. Here we go. So very important qualities which are attributed to Shakti as feminine aspect of God. They're very much kind of needed in our life. That sacrifice, that service. I'm going to pick up where I left, right? So I was trying to say that it's usually deemed that men who sacrifice something big for some ideal from the patriotic or other reasons, for that reasons he would sacrifice their egoism and he would make something very ascetic, very harsh to put something to the world. But actually, I'm going to repeat it again. There were lots of women who were martyrs or martyrs who would sacrifice something in their life for something more important, something bigger, and they would suffer in their earthen life. And this quality of self-sacrifice is very important quality to show that the spiritual beginning within us is much more powerful, is much more stronger than anything else, than other power which is maybe connected to there's something which is connected to physical body, for example, some pain which we go through our physical body, and that sacrifice we sometimes, or those martyrs had to go through the kind of hardship and torture through the physical body. There are other things which you can sacrifice, which are very important in your life for the high ideal, not necessarily physical body related. And this is even higher form of sacrifice in the name of God, in the name of Creator, in the name of some higher ideals. But everything. So this quality we really need as some kind of understanding and manifestation of love, because love can be defined as when what the other person feels and his life and his happiness is more important for us than our own happiness. It doesn't mean that we have to forget about ourselves, we have to put ourselves through a test the true love always comes with a feeling of bliss, even when we sacrifice some of our interests, and when we have to sacrifice some of our personal interests, maybe some kind of some comfort, just for making the other feeling better. We support that person, we maybe defend that person physically, morally, but the one who sacrifices their own interest experiences bliss. If it doesn't mean that we forget about self completely. So the right sacrifice as the expression of love is always connected to that more elevated state, more higher feeling, elevated feeling. So therefore, this is a quality we can manifest, express in our life, because then we can really live for each other. We can maybe sacrifice your own benefit just to support the other, to support another person, particularly the close one, particularly those who are in a hardship, who experiences difficulty to cope with things. So this is very important quality when you want to develop spiritually. And something great always starts with something small. So you start with a small sacrifice in this sense. And then we can understand those people who sacrifice something great, something like their life, in the sake of something bigger and other people sometimes. Therefore, this quality which we're going to experience today in our practice, initiating ourselves today. So it could be very helpful and very important quality in our life, in your life. Otherwise, if you don't have this quality of self-sacrifice, you completely locked in your own interest and you stay there. And it's very, how to say, kind of, it can become a big obstacle in your life. We say sometimes, listen to yourself, follow your interest, which is good, but it's good. But when you do it for the sake of something higher, something bigger, some high ideal, but just making sure there's nothing behind those high ideals, because sometimes behind some spiritual attribute, there's something very selfish, a selfish interest. Therefore, it's kind of a distorted form. It's in a way a form of egoism. So for when we have this dilemma to sacrifice our interest and to help someone else, so to sacrifice our interests, to sacrifice to help someone, in many cases, it's good to help someone else when you sacrifice something within yourself. So this is in a way, it's kind of like a virtuous deed, which will start your kind of assist your evolution of your consciousness, and will also support that spiritual aspect within us. And of course, when men and women are together, then this sacrifice, it's good when it's mutual, when a man and a woman are together. It's not just one of them sacrifice more and then the other just simply use it or exploit it or misuse it, because this can create some kind of obstacles. When a man and a woman really cooperate together in this sacrifice, then it can become mutual, and it brings you to the higher feeling, and higher feeling in the relationship. So the relationship going to a different level. So the care about each other increases. This is kind of like this cooperation becomes really like a spiritual cooperation of your soul. And what you need to understand that the self-sacrifice actually takes place differently in men and in women. I already mentioned it at the beginning, that men are more kind of purpose-driven, like a straight line. So they're very goal-oriented. And this goal quite often has some kind of like almost an earthen dimension. So they're not trying to achieve something on this planet, but something beyond it, or something beyond just little task. It could be like maybe to save the whole humanity. Therefore, when a man goes through sacrifice, for them, the sacrifice is for something like big, like to save the humanity. And for them, in a way, it's easier to make this sacrifice. They see this a big goal. It's easier for them, for example, to go on fasting, or to have some kind of like something to do with the physical body when they have to be very ascetic in their physical body, when they go, for example, like stay on their own, like ascets. But women do it differently. For women, the stumbling stone for a woman is to a man. The man, when he does this sacrifice, he in a way he feeds his ego. So he kind of almost like show, oh, my physical body goes through this hardship, and I'm doing it for a higher purpose. And this is actually feeds his ego. This is a stumbling block for a man. For women, it's slightly different. Women is designed differently. The main idea for a woman to let the God in. So through a woman, God manifests itself in this world. So her energy is not penetrating. Her energy is receiving. She's on the receiving side. That's why her sacrifice is more connected to the material context of this world. So the nature of woman's sacrifice comes from the taking care and protecting her child. And that's where her sacrifice particularly apparent. She can sacrifice her life in the sake of her child, because this life was created through her body, and she making sure that that life continues, and that's why she can sacrifice her own body. So this is one of the biggest kind of way of how woman can sacrifice herself. She can also sacrifice herself, for example, for the sake of her family, for her husband, for the sake of the family in the material context, because in a way, woman also manifests and symbolizes the material context of the family. That's why she wants to protect it. She wants to hold that space she is in. That's why the woman's so the challenge for a woman is to sacrifice that context. And quite often women are much better than men, or not, or much worse in terms of sacrifice. Because for women, or for that reason, so in this sense, from one point of view, woman can sacrifice everything for another person, for her child, or on another side, she can become very mercantile. Seriously, woman is in a very polarized situation in this sense. She either very mercantile, very, very kind of like stuck in the material world, or very kind of prone to sacrifice. So she's got she's prone to both extremes. Therefore, it's a bit more difficult for a woman. For a man, as I was said, man is sacrificing himself for higher ideal, which fits his egoism. But for a woman, her sacrifice is often to do with her karma on this earth, and there are lots of examples when woman sacrifices herself for the sake of her husband, who maybe abused her, betrayed her, well, in other words, kind of didn't respect her. Maybe even rape her. But nevertheless, when his business, for example, goes apart, crumbles down, his woman would still support him. She would sacrifice herself in this to support him, despite of that horrible attitude she was subject to. So either that, or she'll become very mercantile. The two extremes. So to